My name is Moses Powell. I've been studying Jiu-Jitsu for the last 20 years. I'm the master Furenda Visitational. And at this particular time, I'm a senior master in the art of Jiu-Jitsu Te and Jiu-Jitsu Ryu.
.radio.net presents to you some of the most deadly jiu-jitsu masters in the world. Trained in the vicious urban inner-city street combat system of Sinukus Ryu Jiu-Jitsu, this art was created by the legendary Dr. Moses Powell, the father of American contemporary jiu-jitsu and the greatest martial artist of the 20th century. This network brings together 4 radio shows 4 nights a week, starting with Tuesday nights at 9 p.m. Each one teach one, with the Pia Master himself, Grandmaster Urban Muhammad, and his protege, Professor Terrence Hale. Wednesday nights at 9 p.m. Modern Combat Masters, hosted by the inheritor of GM Billy Davis Jiu-Jitsu, guru of his own Filipino system, and Sinukus Master, Grandmaster Daryl Sargent, and his co-host, Sifu Reseda de Jesus. Thursday nights at 9 p.m. is Professor Tom Curry's radio talk show. A Kenpo Master and Professor of Sinukus Ryu, 20 years law enforcement, senior tactical training instructor for intelligence retired, and author of the official Sinukus Ryu Jiu-Jitsu testing and training curriculum. And Friday nights at 8 p.m. is Making the Connection, hosted by the president of DocRadio.net, Grandmaster in the art of Sinukus Ryu and Soke of Kuroshi Kaikan martial arts system, and president of the Family of Sinukus organization, Soki Haisan Khalik, and his co-host, Shihan Farouk Gibbs. All of these shows can be linked to online by typing in docradio.net or listening live at the scheduled time by dialing 646-716-6825. DocRadio.net is also proud to present DocMagazine.net, the world's largest martial art magazine dedicated to Dr. Moses Powell, Sinukus Ryu Eye-to-Eye Jiu-Jitsu, Urban Tactical Street Self-Defense, and Streetology. Please join our Facebook group by typing in docradio.net and follow us on Twitter by typing docradio.net. Thank you for your support, and in the words of Doc, eye to eye, heart to heart, to the wall and back, os.
Eye to eye. This is Fukan Shabazz Mujahideen from the Sinjo-Kai Dojo, Word Within branch in Atlanta, Georgia. Today is a very special day for the Sinukus Ryu. I call it the Sinukus Nation, for the Sinukus Ryu family, actually. And today we're going to have a guest, Grandmaster Anaconda, who is the president of the United Sinukus Federation. And we're also going to have our guest, Chief Professor Yahuda Shem Yahuda, one of the original 15 masters of Dr. Moses Powell, as well as Yusuf Rahman. And today we will be congratulating them on their entry into the United Sinukus Federation. Sinukus United. I'm messing up. Never messed up before. See. I'm messing up. United Sinukus Federation Association. So let me bring in my guest, Grandmaster Anaconda.
Yes,
Grandmaster. Are you there?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay.
Yes.
And let me also see. What about heart to heart? And let me also bring a co-host and my sister Shihan Salahuddin. Are you here?
Yes, sir. How are we doing, gentlemen?
You hear me? Yes, I can hear. Yes, I can hear you, sir. Yes.
Grandmaster Sam. Yes, sir. Hi.
Yes.
Hi.
Okay.
Here we go.
Okay, here we go. Okay. So how's everyone doing today?
Can't complain. Alhamdulillah. Great. Doing wonderful.
Yeah. Before, this is actually going to be a brief show. It's only going to be, because Grandmaster Anaconda only has about 30 minutes for us today, so this is going to be pretty much to the point. But so the way I wanted to open it up today was anyone can start. Any one of you gentlemen can start. What is it about Dr. Moses Powell to any one of you that makes him what makes him an exceptional martial artist? you know, in his own right? Like, what is it about him? Like, you know, like if you watch Michael Jordan, we all know what Michael Jordan brings. We know what, you know, Mike Tyson brings. But what is it exceptional about Dr. Moses Powell? Any one of you?
He was born to do this and became one of the best that ever did it.
When you got a guy that big moving that quick, it's unique. You know, it's like water running down a mountain or a stream. It's just so easy, and you know, he just to be so big and so graceful and so quick. It's just unique. You know, very rare you have somebody that has all them qualities together and do all of them well.
Yep. And yourself, Grandmaster?
Yes, he brought an involvement to the art even before most people was ready for it. You know, I mean, he come out the door, you know, with the involvement of the art. So, I mean, that was quite unique in itself. Very different, and that's why at first he was not understood by some of the traditional martial artists because what he was doing was stuff that they couldn't understand. So, yeah, very special.
Shihan, what do you say about this?
Good. I agree with all those gentlemen. He's as close as I ever seen to Superman, and absolutely, yeah. And I mean that he's as close as I ever seen to Superman, and watching at such a young age, I may have even thought he was better than Superman when I was much younger.
That's
but
right.
just that someone I never had. Although I'm not afraid of any man, I never had such a healthy aspect of fear and respect for one man like that. So you had the fear of the man for what he can do to you, but just watching Buck move in the time that I spent with him, I've never seen anybody duplicate that. So what all those brothers said and more, he was just an incredible martial artist, and I've never seen anyone move like that, man.
Chief Professor, this question is for you. Let's say you at the dojo, right? Let's say whichever one you was at in Brooklyn, Worlds Collide or anyone you was at, and let's say you had the floor, you was doing the teaching, you knew Doc was coming. He called you. He said, Chief Professor, I'm going to be in the dojo in 10 minutes. Get the class started. I'll be there. So you got the class started. Everybody is there. When he walks through the door, what happens? What's the presence like when he walks through the door?
It's electric. It was electrifying.
Yeah.
First of all, among people, everything come to a stop. From that point on, he is the maestro. Setting the tempo as well as separating the wheat from the chaff. Those that have a broader base and understanding of the system, they worked on a different level of applications than those individuals that just walked in the door. And then we also had the Jerry's kids. You do know about the Jerry's kids, right?
No, what's that?
Look at him, he's walking. Look at him, he's talking. Like he never walked or talked before.
You ain't never seen the telephone with Jerry Lewis?
Who is it?
Jerry Lewis. You ever seen the telephone with Jerry Lewis?
Oh, yeah, Jerry Lewis. That's right. Jerry, Jerry.
When they had the little kids in 1 year, he in a wheelchair, and the next year, that's Jerry Kiss.
Yeah.
That's not. Some people's mentality was just that way, that he could give up a move, and they'd be like Jerry's kids. Now, what did you do? Like they weren't even paying attention or looking.
Wow.
Still interested. Never stop.
So this federation, the USFA, would you agree that this federation has the potential to be the largest consortium of the pure knowledge-based teachings of Dr. Moses Powell? Is this where this federation is heading to?
That's exactly where I would like to see it head to, because this can become a worldwide phenomenon, teaching the legacy of Dr. Moses Powell, and it's going to take everybody involved, all of us brothers and all of the others when it's out there, in order to bring it together to that level, because he truly deserved it, and there's no reason why it can't happen. We have to take the mantle, and we got to make it happen. And I expect it to be one of the world's, if not the world's largest martial arts organization, period, by the time we're done. Just my take on it.
You know, it's an honor to welcome Chief Professor Yahuda, Shem Yahuda, and Professor Yusuf Rahman, you know, as actually the newest member to the USFA, but probably one of the oldest students in Sinukus Rule Federation. I know personally firsthand, you know, I had a chance to meet both of these men, and great men, you know, great honorable men, and particularly to Chief Professor Shem. I know that some of the things that might have kept you away from the Federation was some internal strife, you know. Not that we're going to go into detail here because these things have already been resolved, but just for the benefit of the Federation and for the benefit of record, you know, I just the things that did kept you away and the things that might have made you become inflammatory to the Federation. Is it safe to say that at this point that you denounce that?
What am I denouncing? That the friction is over with?
Yeah. The friction is over with, and anything that you might have vocalized on the internet about the Federation.
Sure. Yes, sir.
Yes. And also, and I do know, because like I said, I had a brief opportunity to also get a chance to get to know Grandmaster Anaconda, and for the sake of keeping things in the family. But for some of the things that might have been inflammatory to the Grandmaster Chief Professor, you as the president and the head of the National United Sinukus Federation, you know, is it safe to say that any inflammatory things that was initiated or that was projected towards Chief Professor Shem, that you denounced that?
You know, I definitely do, because, you know, we have to be family, and, you know, and a lot of times, you know, people get heated and they say things, and it really may not be, you know, it may just be in the heat of the moment, but the truth is what's really deep down in the heart, you know, what's really in the heart and soul of the person. And I personally believe that the brother loves Doc. I believe he loves Sinukus, and I believe that he wants to see it be all that it can be. So if there was anything that came from this end, you know, then I definitely denounce that, because we shouldn't be doing this between each other. We family, and that's what we want to walk shoulder to shoulder as family from this moment forward.
Good. Let me add something in. Shion Saladin here. Listen, I've known Anaconda since I went to his house in 1997. Of course, I've known him since the Warrior Within, as far as knowing who he was. But I met the man in '97 when Doc was up in Doc and Gina were at his home, and they were staying there in Vermont. Excuse me. Yes, sir. When they were up in Vermont. Listen, ever since Anaconda was asked and nominated to be the president, I've never heard Anaconda speak ill of anybody. From '97 to this day, I've never heard him speak ill of Shem, Grandmaster Shem, or anyone else in a negative fashion. And I mean, I can testify. He's always been, since I've known the brother, in and out of his house, he's always been the one that keeps doors open. And I think, he is the president of USFA, and some information from some other people may have made mistakes that are members in the USFA, but nothing came from the president. And you can judge it by the leadership. Nothing. This never came from the president of the USFA.
No.
And one thing I can tell you about Grandmaster Shem, I met Grandmaster Shem briefly twice up in New York City. But when I say met him, I mean see him. We never had conversation. But me and Grandmaster Shem had numerous conversations. And I can tell you, the man is dedicated to Doc. And the man loves Doc, because he's never mentioned anybody else but Dr. Moses Powell and his Sinukus rule. He didn't mention himself. He ain't mentioned Rahman. He ain't mentioned Anaconda. He ain't mentioned no one else. He mentioned Dr. Moses Powell, and that's all he's mentioned in the conversation that I had with him. And you can verify that yourself, Shabazz. So it's good to have these brothers finally talking, man, because while everybody else is talking, Shem said this and Shem said that and Anaconda said this. Oh, the USFS said that. No. I've never heard those brothers say anything bad about the situation. And then the second thing I'm going to bring up, and I'm going to turn it back over to you, brothers, is listen, Grandmaster Anaconda, you had a problem with Doc. Shem had a problem with Doc. I don't know any students that Doc loved that didn't have a problem with Doc at some point. And didn't have a difference, a difference of opinion. We all had a difference of opinion on things because we're men. Ain't no slaves, ain't no robots. You know what I'm saying? Ain't nobody. We're not in the military or nothing like that. We all have differences of opinion. And Doc opened that. Right. You know, with the people that would just jump up and if Doc said jump out the window, they're gonna jump out the window. Doc didn't have a healthy respect for those people. You know what I'm saying? Doc like people.
No, he did.
Yeah, not really to challenge them, but to, at least show that you have a brain. And and I shared with Grandmaster Shem earlier that the situation that me and Doc had a disagreement. So I don't know if Doc knew you or loved you, you had a disagreement with him.
Yes, you did. You know, but at the end of the day, you still loved each other. You know.
Absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely. But that's all I wanted to say, brother. I'll let you turn this thing back over.
Okay. One thing I want to say right quick. You know, when I first met Chief Professor Shem, we had the very first Hall of Fame in New York, and it was called Sinukus Mashaba Universal Hall of Fame. It was myself, Doc, and a partner of mine. We put the Hall of Fame together, and that was the first event. And Chief Professor Shem flew in all the way from New York, and that was the first time I met him. And he was a really gracious brother, you know. And and I liked him from the first time I had met him, you know. And I never had no issues with him. And I seen him, several times down in my school in Connecticut. He was down there. So, I mean, oh, by the way, as far as the Hall of Fame, we did too. Anybody who got certificates from those Hall of Fames, they got a piece of history, and it's unique, and they better hold on to that for dear life because nobody else have or got the opportunity to get it like that again, not in the way that was set up. So that was really special. Anyway, sorry, brother, go ahead on. I didn't mean to interrupt.
Yeah, I mean, no. All I'm going to say is I'm going to just wrap it up, and I would like to give Grandmaster Chief Professor Shem an opportunity to say some closing remarks. Professor Yusuf Rock will say some closing remarks, and it would be very important if Grandmaster Anaconda, if you could, if you have your closing remarks, and also welcome them to the USFA, and then when you're done, I'm going to close the show out with just 2 minutes of some footage of Doc talking on the phone, and then after that, I'm going to just say eye to eye, we'll just salute, we'll just buy off this conversation.
All right, very good, very good.
Chief Professor, Chief Grandmaster, go ahead.
Oh yes, I appreciate the opportunity to go ahead and speak because it had been a 6-year period that I was not able to communicate with any of the extended family of Sinukus as well as the immediate alumni for whatever reasons that there might be. But plain talk leads to plain understanding, and I'm an individual that don't have a problem with it being straight and raw because we didn't come into Sinukus looking for a charm school. I didn't come to Sinukus for the warm and fuzzy, and hopefully nobody else did and expect to survive in the street. My fondest wish or greatest wish is to continue the in-house training. All right, and as I was speaking with Grandmaster earlier, that we don't necessarily have to talk to one another. We don't necessarily have to like one another, but we do have to respect the ranks that the founder put within his intellectual creation, and make sure that the proprietary teaching still stay at the standards it was. What do I mean? We can raise the standards, but we should never lower those standards, because then we don't have what he left. We got yakame. That is the American word for sauerkraut, choppy, rattly, and stringy. Anybody else?
Professor
yes. Well, all I see is that, and anybody know me know that's how I feel. I feel that's all about Moses Powell and Sinukus rule. Because when you have something that unique and you've been a party to something that unique, You should cherish it. You know, and so if that's why we say we need a master's class, because it starts at the top. If the top is disillusioned and is not together, then what do you expect for the people, the Shions and the black belts, and the people like Furkan, who's coming up in the martial arts? If the top doesn't assimilate the knowledge down, then how can they know? How can future generations know the beauty and uniqueness of Sinukus root? So, you know, this is why I say that, you know, periodically the top, which is the grandmaster and the professors, whose job it is to assimilate the knowledge, should come together and be on the same page.
Well said, brother. Well said.
Amen.
All right. Grandmaster Anaconda.
You know, and that is true. One thing that, you know, Doc always said to me, he said, you know something, Anaconda? He said, man, you know what pisses me off? He said, man, you know, all these people walking around, all these teachers, these masters and professors, grandmasters, and most of them don't train no more. You know, they fat, they sloppy, you know, they skills is weak. And he said, that's not the way I raised them. That's not what I taught them. When do you get so big to where you can't train them more? He said, I still train, so why can't they train? You know, and that's the truth. So in order for us to stay sharp, we have to train. You cannot have good students if you don't have a good teacher. Training is going to do that for us, and that's something that we have to do. We have to get a master's class, or whatever you want to call it. The name ain't important. What's important is that we get together and we find the designated times and we all get out there and we do our thing. We train, we get in shape, you know, we sweat, we fight, we do whatever we got to do. We get our jump right, you know, and we shine and we represent God, you know. So that's what's important. And with these brothers becoming a part of the, oh, by the way, Brother Shabbat, United Sinukus Family Association, brother, you got some push-ups. Anyway,
I'll make sure we get them too.
Yes, sir. Hey, and not they get the butter from the duck. But these brothers, you know, becoming a part of the association. See, what this does is shows the public the truth of what we've been talking about. That we're here to bring the family together, to put all past differences aside. You know, let's mend this and let's move forward for the sake of Dr. Moses Powell. This is what this is all about. This is what this is showing. And this is a good step. So can't nobody go and say, well, you know, they're always saying this and that, but I don't see no evidence. Well, we got evidence right here tonight on the radio, you know, with my two brothers, you know, so that'll kind of put the coffin, you know, the nail in that coffin. Now they can find something else to talk about. So that's
yes,
about
sir. And thank you. Yes, I'm glad, brother. The nails in the coffin, that stuff is done, and we don't even need to ever revisit any of that stuff again. Let's move forward and put Dr. Moses Powell's art and the man back where he needs to be, which is at the top of the martial arts chain, period.
Amen.
Okay.
I agree. Yes, sir.
And Grandmaster, if it's okay, you know, I could do the push-ups at my home, so when I get to the dojo, I don't have to do them. Is that cool?
No, no, sir. Hey, as a teacher, Grandmaster, I can't get him off the hook on that one now. He can do 5 push-ups at home. Told me he did 500.
Yes, sir.
Hey. Go ahead, brother.
Yes, sir.
Before I close it out, I think we have some guests. Let me just see who called in. Let me see. Who's 2851? 2850. 2850. Okay.
Hello,
what about
name and where are you calling from?
Hello. This is
yes,
Abdul. Eye. This is Abdul Mateen from Warrior Within Dojo, Team Professor Saifullah.
Yes.
Welcome to On the Mat.
I was just listening in, you know, and listening and hearing about Dr. Moses Powell, and I just wanted to hear, you know, what your brothers had to say, you know, and that's pretty much it.
Well, you actually called in on a historical conversation, so you don't even have to hang up. You could just stand by, and we're gonna wrap this up, and I'll be more than happy for you to be part of this historical conversation. And thank you so much for calling in, brother. Assalamu alaikum.
Thank you.
Alaikum assalam rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
All right, let me also bring in the next person. We got, who's 2580? Welcome on the mat. 2580, your last. Okay. All right, so I'm gonna close this show out I'm gonna first start by reading a little bit of information about Dr. Moses Powell, because we do have viewers, and I'm becoming aware that a lot of people may not know who Dr. Powell is, but we are blasted all over Facebook. So I'm gonna just read a little bit about him, and then I'm going to play a little clip about him, and then we're gonna close out this session. All right.
All right.
Dr. Moses Powell was a martial arts living legend with more than 47 years of consummate study in the fighting arts. His experience and achievements are countless, and his name is world renowned. In 1965, Dr. Powell was the featured martial arts demonstrator at the New York World's Fair. The following year, in 1966, he was the first martial artist to receive the African Benin Arts Award. Between 1967 and 1968, Dr. Powell pioneered his craft by traveling overseas to the Caribbean. There he introduced Sinukus Jiu-Jitsu to the islands of Jamaica and Trinidad and to Bermuda in the early 1970s. Dr. Powell was inducted into the International African Arts Festival, Living Legend Award, and was the first African-American to teach the fighting arts to law enforcement agencies around the world. In January of 2003, Dr. Powell said, "I have been called the pioneer, the missionary, and the lumberjack of martial arts. When I think about it, I like to be remembered as the man I am, Moses Powell. It's not about making yourself anything, but it's about earning your rewards as you go along. Remember, there's no such thing as a bookmaster. You have to fight in the trenches or on the mat. I want young people to realize that there is a history to look up to and a path of greatness to follow and further pave." Dr. Moses Powell was born on January 13, 1941 in Norfolk, Virginia, to Athena and Moses Powell, and passed away on January 22, 2005 due to respiratory failure. To list all his accomplishments, honors, and awards would be impossible. To say he made a difference would be an understatement. He was a man chosen to be great. What he made of that greatness is what truly separated him from other men. He gave over 50 years of his life to martial arts. It was his love in his life, and most of all, it was what he believed in and trusted. He was a natural teacher, a let-me-show-you kind of man, and when he showed you, you knew you had experienced something powerful enough to change lives. Although we would not have the opportunity to see Grandmaster Dr. Moses Powell in action again and witness the fluidity and effectiveness of this art by one of its masters, he will always be in our memories, and those closest to him will miss him dearly. So now I'm going to just play a clip from him, and we're going to just close out. Hold on one second.
Oh.
Like a stream. You can't take a man and tell him he must be rigid when he flows, like a stream.
I've never seen you do that. And to see this huge person just flying through the air and rolling out, not making a sound. It's very beautiful, very frightening.
He's big and he's fast and he's knowledgeable and he's a gentleman. And he's an exceptional man. My type of rollouts are not like you would take it. Like it just looks beautiful, but it's very dangerous because if I can attack with those, then it's something else, And most people just look into this unbelievable. They don't even see the point because whoever blocked the rollout. Movement, being where you're supposed to be at the right time. It's timing. And when a man attacks you, you attack him at greater speed. But always keep him on the balance because you think that he is really getting over, but you're coming in also. See, when a man drives towards you and you move back, you take away strength. But if he's driving towards you, you move towards him, and then you're expecting him to sidestep. There's the circle motion to destroy his whole body structure. If I touch you, you can get it out.
I want to thank everyone I want to thank everyone for tuning in tonight. This is a very special show to me. Also personally, this is a very special show, and I see it in my heart as a historical show. And welcome you two brothers again to the family. And I hope that we all look at each other as brothers, each other's brothers keeper, and not just a word, but actually as each other's brothers in the system of Sinukus, in the system of Sinukus Jiu-Jitsu.
That's right.
Also, Shabazz, want to make sure that we mention that we're still in the process of the 200 member drive with the United Sinukus Family Association, and definitely you can follow us. And I'll let Shabazz give the information. There's a Facebook page as well as the website, Shabazz.
Yes, there will be what you could do if you go to senjokai.com and join our Facebook page. We'll have information on our Facebook page on how you could become part of that drive. It's a pretty sophisticated, but yet simple plan. And so you just go to senjokai.com, look down at the bottom, click the Sinukus University link, and all the information will be there. And just to like Chief Professor Shem said, Doc was about rank. So I think it'd be more appropriate if Grandmaster Nakana would just close us out tonight.
Well, thank you very much, brothers. Thank everybody for being on the show. And this has been a very important event tonight. And, yes, it is historical. And the more and more of the family come together, the better it's going to be for the entire family, for our reputation, for the image that's out in the public. So let's reach out beyond the barriers, beyond the borders, drop the attitudes, and let's just go to work. And thank you very much. My blessings. Heart to heart.
Heart to heart. To the wall and back.
Each one teach one.